Do you guys remember the show Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide? I loved that show as a kid, but the cast, as they have grown up, have not been looking too good, you guys. To refresh your memory, in case you guys didn't see my video on it, when the Quiet on Set documentary came out, the Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide cast was not looking good. It seemed like they were making jokes about things in the documentary, and well, after that, I fear things were never the same for them. People had also commented on the things that they were discussing on the podcast, just feeling like they could not believe that they were admitting the things that they were. I mean, they were giving people the tea, that's for sure, but it definitely wasn't setting them up to ever get a reboot. And now people are talking about them all over again because Lindsey Shaw is upset that Wizards of Waverly Place is getting a reboot and not Ned's Declassified. And it has turned into this whole conversation online, and we have got to spill on everything that is being said. Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide aired on Nickelodeon from 2004 to 2007, and the three main characters were played by Devon Werkheiser, Daniel Curtis Lee, and Lindsey Shaw. At the beginning of last year, the three of them got together again to start a podcast called Ned's Declassified Podcast Survival Guide, and the three of them have been spilling, you guys. In these episodes, they've really opened up about some behind-the-scenes things that honestly some people wish they had kept to themselves, because they're looking back at the show thinking, what do you mean that was happening while you guys were filming? Lindsey and Devon have been open about their dating history as the two of them were together for some time, but Lindsey has also opened up about how she had been interested in other cast members on the show as well.
Dude, I ran through every Ned's cast member before I landed on Devon.
Damn.
Remember that?
The chosen one. You take that one of two ways.
I remember I like telling Theo that I liked him, and we like held hands at the movies.
He's so mysterious.
And Rob.
Yep.
And then Dev was like,
funny.
hey, and I was like, you guys, hey.
Yeah, you definitely had your pick for a minute there.
Yeah.
Rob, Theo, between Rob, Theo, and me. Any others?
No, Kyle scared me.
Really?
Because he had used that big dong on, he had already lost his virginity.
Oh, you needed some.
Once again.
People were also like, I can't believe I'm hearing the things I'm hearing about these child stars right now when Lindsey and Devon talked about when they were together.
Do you remember?
What are you gonna ask on this podcast? What are you gonna ask on this public podcast, Lindsey?
Do you remember that?
The first what?
BJ.
I actually do. You really want to talk about this on the pod?
I just wanted to say that I felt like a failure from that point because
He didn't finish.
I know. Yep.
No.
You didn't. You didn't. After a moment, he just said, "Thanks, okay," and you got up and you went to the bathroom and you did your thing.
No. I don't remember that at all.
Which one do you remember? The one on the couch?
No, I remember the one in the backseat of your car. We can't talk about this on the pod.
Oh,
Dude, I
we
can't
got
believe-
busy. We got busy in quite a few places. I don't want to.
Oh, I can't believe.
So saying all of this under the Ned's Declassified name isn't exactly going to be getting them a reboot with the way that it's now associated with them talking about explicit topics and they curse and have talked about drug addiction and other heavy subjects before. But these three have been very public about the fact that they do want a reboot, and the network that owns the rights to the show have declined.
There's a lot of versions of people asking, why don't we do the show for adults? But we don't own the IP for Ned, so we developed an idea. We pitched it to the studio who owns the IP, and as of now, they're just passing on it.
Now, there's something about these rebooted shows from the family-friendly genre that seem to want to stay in the same genre, and trying to change that seems to be extremely difficult despite there being a demand. Like with Lizzie McGuire, they were set to do a reboot of the show, but it didn't work out because Disney Plus executives wanted it to be family-friendly, whereas Hilary Duff was advocating for the show to be a more adult version. And that's the thing about these reboots that I do not understand, because isn't the point for the reboot to be for the people that grew up watching it? I mean, there's this whole audience that is wanting these shows to be rebooted, and then the target audience is not us. And we've seen these reboots happen, like Raven's Home, Girl Meets World, and now Wizards Beyond Waverly Place just aired their first episode on Disney Plus as the spin-off to Wizards of Waverly Place, and it's another kids show, which is cute, but I'm not really gonna watch all those episodes because I know it's not for me. It's not like we're gonna see Alex Russo get crazy. But when all this buzz was going around surrounding the first episode of the new Wizards of Waverly Place reboot, Lindsey Shaw was pretty upset, feeling like all these shows are getting reboots or their millionth movie, but Ned's can't seem to get anything, and she made a TikTok venting about it.
I just don't understand how Spider-Man can be remade 437,896 times and Ned's Declassified can't even get reboot once. Not even reboot once for a crappy TV movie. Just let us have a crappy TV movie.
This then started a whole drama online because people were like, girl, be so serious right now. Ned's doesn't even come close to being on the same level as Spider-Man, which is why there have been so many.
Ooh, I fear she's not well. That was off-putting, right? She just compares Spider-Man to Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide on Nickelodeon? I fear... Where's Ned? Where's Ned? 'Cause I'm pretty sure even Ned would tell her probs no, right? It's not like I barely remember that show.
Like, I just don't understand, like, why they won't, like, give us, like, a reboot or anything, because it's like, okay. Never mind that the show was, like, mid-tier at best and very forgettable, okay? Never mind that, okay? Never mind that the most memorable character was Coconut Head, who wasn't even one of the 3 main characters, including me, okay? Never mind that we mocked victims of SA on our little lame podcast, and our 5 viewers got mad at us because we mocked them after the little Quiet on Set documentary came out, okay? Never mind that the apology that we put out was half-assed and it was very fake and it very scripted and it was not genuine, okay? Okay, so never mind that our podcast numbers are failing. Why won't they pick up Ned's Declassified, like a cool, sophisticated, like adult version of this show? Why are they not picking this? I don't get it.
Call me crazy, but I don't understand why one of the most, if not the most popular and iconic comic book characters of all time got multiple movies made about him, but my show, the show you put on because there's nothing else better to watch, my show you put on when a commercial comes on the show you're watching, so you click to my show because you're like, it's better than nothing. We didn't get one single reboot?
People were just ripping her apart for this and then bringing up how the 3 of them have been problematic, so the chances of them getting a reboot is just not that high. And this year, the 3 of them really came under fire after the Quiet on Set docuseries came out, and they were on TikTok Live getting asked about it, and they were laughing and giggling and making jokes, and people were completely disturbed by this behavior given the seriousness of the docuseries.
Daniel, I told you.
Daniel, we told you never to speak about that. Get back in your hole, Daniel, and give me your holes. Sorry, we shouldn't joke about this. We really shouldn't.
This is awful. Why are we doing this?
Because this is about us. Listen, our set was not like that. And no, it's awful. The Drake Bell is that's crazy to hear. That is, and that never came out, which is really wild.
They did end up coming out to address the situation, but people were just not loving what they had to say.
We fucked up. I get it. We hadn't seen the doc, and everyone was asking us for our opinions on it.
Oh, on the TikTok.
Yeah. And I get it. Now having seen the documentary, it's so disturbing. I get they were asking us.
And we had no clue of the magnitude of what they were discussing. We're also multitasking. I'm sitting there editing the sound. I thought we had lost all of the footage.
Now we've watched it, and I get it. If I had just watched, especially that 3rd episode, and then watched us joking like that,
You would be upset.
I would be like, are they sociopaths?
So as the talk of a reboot was brought up, people were just like, yeah, you're not exactly the people that we think should be getting one. And I'll say I did love the show. The original show, as a kid, I was all for it. But Ned as an adult, I don't know. I think the whole show was about them growing up, being at school, and we don't really need to see what happened next. And obviously with them having been in drama, it's wanted even less. But the frustration from Lindsey about the reboot might have also been triggered by more than just Wizards of Waverly Place getting one and her being jealous by that, but the fact that their podcast actually got dropped by their network. So the 3 of them were doing their podcast through the company Podco, which is Christy Carlson Romano's podcast network, where she is really honed in on the old shows to podcast genre, as the network has shows like Wizards of Waverly Pod, Full House Rewind, Ned's Declassified, Pretty Little Liars True Crime. Christy also has her own podcast and one with Annalise Vanderpool. Now, Lindsey was the one that made the announcement on Instagram that the podcast was getting canceled, and she was also saying that her other podcast, Pretty Little Liars True Crime, was also getting canceled.
The Pretty Little Liars podcast is over, and so is the Ned's Declassified podcast for now. Podco has decided to do their own thing, so we will not be associated with them in any type of way any longer. Yeah, it's been fun doing Pretty Little Liars and Ned's Declassified. It isn't our choice to end it. It's really all them, so send any questions or comments you have to their inboxes. That's Christy Carlson Romano and Brendan Rooney for Podco. Okay, well, talk to you in some other way through the internet. Bye.
Some suspected maybe Lindsey and Christy Carlson Romano had drama or something because they felt like Christy would never have passed on having these 2 shows on her network, as she seemed obsessed with the reboot genre. But I will say though, as this week has gone on, it seems that the network is actually dropping other shows as well, because none of the others have posted a new non-pre-recorded episode in a while, and the Podco YouTube channel hasn't posted in a while. Plus, everyone has taken out any association with Podco from their social media bios, so there certainly seems to be some drama going on there, and I'm dying to know what the heck the tea is. But with Ned's getting canceled, the 3 of them sat down to address the future of the show.
Ned's Pod is going through a change right now, and we kind of have been, so...
We're under new management.
Yeah, it's us now. Which will lead to varying results.
Oh yeah, results may vary.
Yeah, so basically, Ned's Pod and Podco, we are breaking up amicably, right?
Yeah, we love it.
We're all going in different directions. They're dropping some shows, so we are now production company list. Whatever is next for us, we're looking forward to it. We just don't know what it is.
They did make a joke about a reboot, but truly, who knows after everything if it's happening. I think if it was, Lindsey wouldn't have posted that video recently complaining about Spider-Man getting a bunch of movies and Ned's not even being able to get anything. But that is what has been going on with the Ned's crew, what people have had to say in response to them wanting a reboot and their podcast getting canceled. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.